This is an orange that took, but it's being outclassed by the rootstock. You generally would be cutting this off right away, but I had designs on this plant because the rootstock got such a head start that I wanted to sacrifice this orange to have a multi-trunked, multi-stemmed rootstock, so I could graft, a half dozen varieties onto this.
And what is the rootstock? Is it also a citrus?
No, yes, it's called fly dragon.
Okay.
But there's like C35. There's a dwarfing rootstock. There's like 3 major dwarfing rootstocks in the citrus business or more. The fly dragon is the natural one. It's one that hasn't been manipulated. So generally what you do is start with a rootstock like this. And an avocado, if you're planting outside, you would plant any avocado seed and you can use that as a rootstock.
Oh.
And dwarfing citrus, if you want a container citrus, something that's going to be as low as what you see in here, 6-7 feet tall, you need a dwarfing rootstock. You still have to prune. So this basically here is what this is. A tree was grafted, this orange was grafted onto a rootstock, but this was about 2 years old, and I let this one become dominant because I had designs on doing this. All the other ones I would cut all of this off, and then we would sell the orange tree, or you plant it out. This is just an opportunity to, and so we have 400 rootstock like this that we can go around here and pick up 7 different kinds of citrus that's growing in the greenhouse, plus about 25 more that are growing in our nursery as they produce cyanwood. Or you can order cyanwood. You can get free cyanwood now because of the greening disease. So all you have to have is a rootstock, and you can get all the cyanwood you want of all the different exotic varieties of oranges that you might want to grow.
And can you mix all citrus on the same plant?
Pretty much. You could put whatever citrus you want on here.
Limes and
doesn't
oranges.
Mean that, yeah,
lemons.
it doesn't mean that one of them is not going to become dominant, but and generally you wouldn't want to have more than 2 on a plant. But if you're trying to get lots of variety and you have a limited space, like that one tree behind us, we're going to work that one over into a half a dozen citrus that I don't have room for in my greenhouse. But I will have a demonstration of one branch that's fruiting. It will have propagation material on it. It'll show me what that fruit is like. And so, but all of our other sorts of citrus trees are sort of, kumquats, oranges. We don't have multiple. But you could do a three variety and then sell that. A lemon, a lime, and a tangerine or something like that.
Do you start your rootstock from seed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Generally, on citrus anyway, but sometimes we buy the rootstock. If it's apple rootstock, we could buy it in bundles of 50 or 100, and then it saves us a year in terms of doing it. And so, but if I wanted to do these 2 right here, I think I only have 2 kinds of cyanwood right now that I could demonstrate with. So I'm going to just take this right here, and you can see that you can take any citrus tree or any citrus, and graft onto it. But you're going to do that, outside. You're going to have like limited. You're not constrained with having, a 10-foot ceiling or a 15-foot ceiling here. You see the oranges and the kumquat, they're nicely tucked in to the lower part of the greenhouse, and they can be managed. Also, outside you might want to manage your fruit orchard so fruit's lower to the ground. So that's another reason you might want to do that. So they really recommend, sterilizing, your tool with bleach or something. I use spilanthes here, so we can This is a new blade. I'm going to put spilanthes on here, which is antiviral, antifungal, analgesic, and it's an herb that we grow right here, so we're not using bleach. And I can use it and put it on this as well. So you can grow your own antibiotics, take them internally, do everything, whatever. So there are different grafting knives for different grafts, different techniques. This is a utility knife. You can just get a simple one. This one works because you can get it all over anywhere in the third world. And then we're going to be using this electrical tape, which is you can find anywhere around the world, and a little bit of grafting. But you could use some budding tape here, but we could use a bag that you can find anywhere in the world. So you don't need any fancy stuff for doing this. And we're going to do a simple, and this is a very special grafting knife for what's called a simple whip, or you can do a bark graft with this because it's beveled on one side. And most grafting knives are beveled on one side. This one has a special blade for budding. We're not going to do budding today, but you can do, this one will have to, you work with this. These blades are sharpened on one side and flat on the other side because they make a better cut. This one's not, but this is, we use this one for cleft grafts. And I'm just going to go right down the center here. And I might as well cut this one while I'm doing it. And we're going to go this way, I think. It looks like I can stay away from that knot. And we were fortunate enough to have Eli from Jacksonville, Florida, to send us some cyanwood. We have a Meyer lemon here, so we'll do one Meyer lemon and one Tangelo. And I'm going to pick the biggest size that we have in here because this is a large size, so we try to match up the caliber. I might cut off this bottom, stuff in the refrigerator, and keeping it in the cooler so that it keeps
How long
fresh.
does it last?
It lasts a month or so, depending on the material. And most of the stuff you graft in the temperate zone is round, but this is got a very peculiar shape. So you have to figure out how you're going to cut this, and I'm going to decide I'm going to cut it this way. And you don't move this, you move this. And you just alternate here where you're going to be making a wedge. What you do want to is try to keep from whittling. Usually a couple of good cuts should do it, and we're going to see how this fits into here. I'm going to do this one first, and then I'm going to wedge that in there. It's not going to fit on both sides. So basically we're going to get it on the inside, let's say. If I can look here, the bigger the wood, the harder it is to work with sometimes because it's not as subtle, and it doesn't allow you to line up that cambium on both sides the way you'd want. So the cambium is lined up on one side, and that usually is enough. If I get these two major ones out of here, then the dominance from this whole tree is gone, and it'll make it easier for me to, for these signwoods to take hold. These are still going to take some energy, but the dominance is gone. And this is not ideal, just coming through here, but it looks like we have it. Putting a lot of pressure on there so that and then I'm going to angle up so I can cover up that church window. Angling now and coming down. Finish up that, and I'll just cut that off. This is kind of a combination of different techniques that I've seen on the internet and what I've done with stone fruits here. So you're going to take, that's going to seal all that off, but this is going to leak some energy, so I'm going to wrap this, and I've seen this, wrap this with some budding tape that will help keep the moisture in this, and then hopefully I can get that to stick. And then take that off in a week or two, and but I'm going to put the paint on the top of that. This is just a regular latex paint that will seal that. This is off the shelf. Everything's off the shelf, so you don't have to, special order anything. You just, whatever you do. Now we can take another flavor. So this is Tangelo. I'm going to go find the biggest piece of signwood in here, which is this one right here. And these are packed in paper towels, moisturized, and then kept in Ziploc bags. You have the rootstock, and you can graft this onto any rootstock in the field as well. You can work over old trees that aren't good. But generally, I would maybe get more than one graft off of this. But since I have a lot of cyanwood, I don't have enough to really use it. I'm going to, see, this is round here. I'll take this off, and I'll just look at, I'm going to do it this way. It looks like I've already cut that, so I'm going to make the wedge this way. This already seems a little dry. It's been in the refrigerator for about a week. Ideally, if you can get to it, the sooner you can get to it, the better. And if you do this all day long, you get, I haven't done grafting for 7 months, so just hard to get back into the flow of how the knife and the wood responds. And this is also different. This citrus doesn't cut like apple. Everything's different, but you can adjust as you I got a little flat spot there that I want to go away, but it doesn't seem to want to go away, so that should be okay on that side. And I probably don't need that butt up there, so we'll leave it up there. Take that off, and then try to get the best side out here, so you can film that and look at it. Only one side is connected, and then down here, but there's a little opening there. But you know, the sap from the cyanwoods, they travel, so they actually can bridge those gaps. You don't have to have everything perfect to make it work. Sometimes you can mess around and just move that around, and you don't get nothing. You got to start over again. So you can hedge your bets here. You don't have to. So this has so much energy. The first thing it wants to do is heal that cut there, and it's going to do that. Okay. It's like when you cut your finger, you get a Band-Aid, you pull the skin back together again, it's going to heal, right? That's what's happening here.
What fraction of your grafts are successful?
Oh, depending, but usually 90% usually.
Okay.
From the stuff I do outside, depending on the material and timing, how it gets taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest part is organizing everything.
Well, 90% seems pretty darn good.
Yeah, and Vanessa's been real helpful in this, labeling and taking care of the sign wood, because that's the important part too. That's just part of the, if you don't have good sign wood and you don't do it at the right time, the rootstock's not ready at certain times. Everything has to be organized. I don't think we're really seeing the buds in here right now. But that's one of the problems with.
Is that M-E-Y-E-R, lemon?
Yeah. Now, when I do this sort of work on apples and plums, I don't need this. I'm going to do it here. I'm going to put the paint on there. You could tie a knot in it, but you can also put this paint on it that will just seal it up. So we have it sealed here, we have it sealed here, and we have it sealed here. So the energy is not going to dissipate from this cyanwood, hopefully, until those things heal, and then the growth transfers from here to here. Now, later on I can graft 1, 2, 3 more varieties here. When I have some different things I want to graft onto it, I'm going to order some cyanwood, some blood orange and different ones, and then this will be a multi-tree that could get potted up into a 20-gallon container, and then you could sell it as a multi, or you could use it for cyanwood. I've been waiting a year or 2 years to actually do this. So there it is. It's all everything lined up, right? So now that we've topped this, the energy's not going up into there. A lot of times when you bud or something, you would have to nick that and then break it over to take the energy out of this top part of the tree. We've already done that. It's still going to go into here, but there should be enough energy to heal those and do what we need to do.